the window in Wilmington. On today's show, we'll have information on NAMI Delaware's conference. The Dupont Clifford Brown Jazz Festival is coming up, and we'll have the details on that. The Grand Opera House and the Playhouse have tons of great shows coming up, and we'll let you know what they are. And the Queen is getting ready for a Boise Lowry Living Jazz residency, and we'll tell you what that is and how you can check it out. But first, June 27th is National HIV Testing Day, and we want to make sure that everybody knows their status. Frank Hawkins is here now to tell us how you can know your status, when and where you can get tested, and all of that great stuff.
Yeah, so thank you for having me on the show.
You're welcome, Frank.
As always, it's a pleasure to come on and be able to reach the masses to talk about a subject like HIV in our state. And not just in the state of Delaware, but we want to also talk about it from a national perspective as well, because HIV is still an illness that has a lot of stigma and discrimination, and coming on this show allows us to make it a topic that people kind of want to become comfortable with, in the fact that we talk about it from the perspective of having it as part of your regular checkup now. And so, as you mentioned, June 27th is National HIV Testing Day. And so our message today is just pretty much to have people go get tested. Now, you don't have to get tested exactly on June 27th, but if you want to get tested another day or during the week or whatever the case may be, please get tested, because Delaware still ranks consistently in the top 10 for HIV/AIDS cases in the nation. So
I still don't understand that. After all of this time.
So I knew you would say that you didn't understand it still after all these years that I've been coming on. So what I did was I brought...
You read my mind?
Kind of, sort of, right? Here we go.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to bring, this is our...
and you bring a small chart, Frank.
I know.
Paul,
no, listen.
Okay.
This
okay.
is, and I didn't, it was just something that I brought for my, as I reference it, I want to make sure I'm quoting accurate numbers.
Okay, I got you on that.
So this is the epidemiological report that we receive as AIDS service organizations monthly from our Division of Public Health.
Okay.
Okay. So these dates are the most current. This data is the most current data up until the month of May.
Okay, so that's new.
So this is new, correct. So in the state of Delaware, there are currently 3,558 people living with HIV or AIDS. So how does that factor into us being in the top 10 per capita? Well, if you look at the population of Delaware, which is less than 1 million people, when you look at how many people there are living with HIV to the numbers, right, it's a small percentage. But that small percentage of individuals carry a great deal of infections because of the number of people that they can affect, right, in our state.
Well, let me ask you something. Okay, has that number, is it the same number consistent? Like, so it just, are these people already infected?
Yeah,
and there's no new cases? These are all of the people that
so
you know about.
These are all of the reported cases that we know of.
Reported cases.
So now, when you look at reported cases versus undocumented cases, the number could possibly triple, double, quadruple. And so that's why it's important that we continually get the message out, because there are we know that there are people that are walking around living with HIV who don't know their status, and as a result of not knowing their status, they could possibly infect other individuals. But the other thing about it, Shannon, is that they do themselves and our community harm in the fact that needles and things of that nature. One of the other things that I did want to mention is that in the United States, women carry a high percentage of HIV/AIDS cases, or the diagnosed cases that we see. And one of
particular age range?
30 to 44 is the particular age range. And one of the things in talking to some of my colleagues from the CDC and other places is that we see a lot, sometimes there are women who are in relationships who may have a husband, boyfriend, or partner who is male and having sex with other men, but that woman does not know the behaviors that he is engaging in. And so, as you can see, then it's something that transmits from one person to another, you know, without the other person knowing their status, until at some point, you know, the condition begins to weaken, they get sick, what have you, and then they like, well, let me go to the doctor, and then the doctor says, well, let's do an HIV test. And you're thinking, well, I know it can't be HIV because, you know,
I've been with this one person for all these years.
And so,
right.
so that's why, you know, we still have to get the message out about HIV. So National HIV Testing Day is just one of the days and one of the ways that we encourage people to come out, get tested, know your status.
And it's rapid testing.
And it's rapid. It's a couple of things. It's free. It's rapid. It's a finger stick, and you get your results in 10 minutes.
And you get counseling.
And you get counseling.
I am shocked at the age range for the women.
Why? What's shocking? What's shocking to you?
Well, you know, I guess I would just think at, I don't know, you know, it just seems like, it, you know, it's a middle-aged group, and, you know, I would assume not risky behavior, but they're all assumptions. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you know, a woman, you know, so studies show that a lot of times women are in relationships where negotiation skills are not available or are not used. So what that means is that they're in a relationship, they kind of think something is going on, but they're kind of too afraid to negotiate condom usage, and therefore they just allow unsafe behavior to still happen and just give up the right to even have a voice or choice in the matter. And a lot of times subsequently they subject themselves to being exposed to HIV, you know, and it could have been prevented the whole time. But again, the thing is the lack of skills to be able to effectively say to my partner, you know, how about if we go get tested? You know, let us know our status. As a person, you know, I do some of the testing at AIDS Delaware, and people a lot of times go, instead of them getting tested, their partner will get tested, and they'll refuse to get tested because they feel that their partner getting tested is their status too.
Yeah, right, because you don't have it, I don't have it.
Right, so we always encourage, and one of the new things that we're doing at AIDS Delaware is we are one of the only sites in the state of Delaware to do couples testing. So our director of our testing department went to a training where now you can have the couple sit down and both be counseled and given the results at the same time. So that's interesting.
Nice, yeah. So you can come with your spouse.
Yeah.
Or your partner.
Or your partner, and just like let us know our status. And this way, if somebody is infected, we can address it appropriately or accordingly, and just kind of figure out how do we move forward from this point. So I think that's very interesting for our state.
I do too.
You know, and as an organization, I think it helps us to kind of encourage a new service for people to take advantage of. And so, yeah.
Well, thanks, Frank, for joining us. And we want to make sure everybody knows you don't have to wait till the 27th. You can go anytime.
Yep.
You can call AIDS Delaware for information. You guys are always there to help folks out.
Always there.
Plenty of information and a whole bunch of great stuff.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
Yep.
And you got through this whole thing without even laughing or making a joke.
Yep. I'm not going to crack no jokes. I'm not saying anything. I'm not talking to these two gentlemen on the cameras or nothing.
Well, I'm sure they missed that.
They look disappointed.
Well, he'll be back, guys. It's Teen Idol coming up. So that's when he'll start.
Yep.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you.
Wendell Wilmington will be back next with NAMI Delaware after these messages.
Introducing a new day of the week, someday. Now, everything you were going to do someday is on the calendar. Want to retire someday? you'll really want this. A My Social Security account at socialsecurity.gov. You can estimate your future benefits and manage current benefits online. Millions of people have a My Social Security account. Get yours today, because someday is here at socialsecurity.gov.
Today, school kids rely on the internet for so many things: homework, math, research. But what about kids who don't have internet at home? Hello, I'm Theo Gregory, Wilmington City Council President. The internet is essential, as many as 80% of low-income families do not have access at home, including many right here in Wilmington. So help bridge this gap by supporting local broadband adoption programs. Let's get more students and families connected to the power of the internet.
The NAMI Delaware Inspiring Hope Conference is Wednesday, October 7th at the Chase Center on the Riverfront. And Courtney Richards and Chuck Tarver are here now to tell us all about it. And wow, it's coming up and you guys working hard out there.
Absolutely.
Yay, I'm glad to have you. Yeah.
Thank you, Shannon.
So what's going on with NAMI? What have you guys been up to?
We've been up to a lot. Got a lot going on.
Yeah,
we just finished our 13th annual walk, raised over $63,000.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's good.
it's been our biggest year in a couple, so we're very excited about that. And we had a very large turnout this year. We had a new location at Glasgow Park in Newark. So it was a really beautiful day. The sun was shining and everybody came out to support our great cause. So we were really thankful for that.
And it is a good cause. You guys think you're tearing down any of the barriers with people dealing with mental illness, families, family members, individuals?
You know, we're starting to see that. One of the things that we see happening is that more groups want to have us at their events. We used to be like, okay, yeah, don't invite. We don't want to deal with that subject.
Yeah.
We're getting invited to more events, more community functions, and we're more than glad to get there. We also have a major partnership, and this is nationally, with Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So we're partnered with them, and they're helping us create additional awareness. So we've got some things going on.
That's really good.
So.
Now, when we talk about mental illness, I don't know if people, what are some of the areas of mental, because I know there are a lot of different ones, but what are some of the ones that could be affecting somebody in this room right now and you might not even think you, yeah, exactly.
So the most common one is depression. People often, and that's one that affects more people than any of the others, but then we've got bipolar disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, when we have schizophrenia and bipolar, and I said bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and why is the sixth one not coming to me?
That's all right.
I feel like Ted Perry, but anyway, Rick Perry it is.
But no, we get, and I understand,
yeah.
but those are the things that people could be walking around with.
Those are things that people could be walking around with. And it's obsessive compulsive disorder that I wanted to mention. And that's, so, and many times people will have those, or they have family members who have those particular diseases. As I said, depression is perhaps the most common. More people miss work for depression than for the common cold. A lot of folks don't know that. Yeah.
Is depression something that kind of comes and goes, or like once you're depressed, will you always be depressed? Do you need counseling to come out of this?
For many people, it's a chronic condition and it stays with them. Other folks may have a bout of depression which will really lay them low for a significant period of time, but with medication, treatment, and counseling, they can come out of it and never have another incident at all. So there's all kinds of variations of it. But if you think that we're talking about 1 in 4 adults, 1 in 5 children, then we're talking large numbers that people are not even aware of.
And it's sad, I think, because most people don't want to go to counseling. You run into folks that don't believe in that, and you know, and these are all the tools that you need to kind of help you on your road to recovery, help you cope with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
about finding the right form of recovery for you.
Right.
You know, we and many organizations that focus on mental health certainly don't advocate, you know, that you have to go to counseling or you have to seek medication. Medication is the only way that's going to fix you. No, what we advocate for is that you find a way to navigate your own recovery so that you can live a more fulfilled life and not feel stigma associated with mental illness and feel like you can involve your family in your recovery and your friends. And,
Right.
you know, that's what organizations like NAMI Delaware do.
That's a great segue. So tell us about some of the services you provide.
Well, why don't we let her talk about that conference first, because that always gets us excited.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
talk about the
a
conference.
major service that we provide.
Absolutely.
It's our premier educational event of the year, and we do promote it that it is a state conference, so we invite everyone from across the state to attend. And it's really a time where we can bring the mental health community in Delaware together and provide superior information that we all need to be aware of. You know, health professionals, clinicians, as well as therapists, peer specialists, which is a field that's really becoming more apparent now. Individuals who are living with a mental illness or something like that are helping others, and it's a profession. And then our conferences open up to consumers, so individuals living with mental illness, as well as their family members. And then this year, we're also adding kind of a focused learning track for our criminal justice community. So attorneys, judges, police officers, anyone who's in that field, because we've really taken criminal justice as something that our organization feels strongly about, and we offer a training program to train officers on the best way to deal with a situation that has mental illness when they come across it.
If the officer comes across and I guess it's a situation, you know, it's case by case basically, but do you help them to identify a person who may be, you know, suffering with a mental illness?
That's exactly what's going on.
Right.
So one of the big programs that we've been doing this year is CIT, which is Crisis Intervention Team Training. And NAMI Delaware has been involved in training 80 officers in the state of Delaware, and this is throughout the entire state in what's known as Crisis Intervention Team Training or Crisis Intervention Training. And that's to recognize when they encounter someone who has a mental illness and treat that person in a manner which is not going to escalate the situation, but move that person toward the help that he or she needs.
Right, and that's got to be a big thing.
That's a major thing.
And rather than just arresting them or, you know, getting them into the system right away, the training is about identifying ways to avoid that as much as possible, you know, unless it's warranted in the situation. So it's like Chuck said, we've really we've trained a lot of officers throughout the state, and we are offering trainings as much as we can because it's extremely important.
Now you got National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, right? So that's in
That
July.
is in July.
Okay.
And we'll probably be doing some small things that are awareness in nature. One place where you're going to see a lot of information on that is if you go to our Facebook page. And our Facebook page, we put out a lot of information. There is a lot that our national organization, NAMI, does, and we kind of get that out locally. But there's also a lot of information that we dig up on our own, and we put it there. And so it's going to be a good information place. We're also partnering with a number of organizations, and because we don't quite have those set yet, I'm not going to announce them here.
That's all right.
But we'll get the word out on that. So they're going to be different spots where we'll be at the community, just to kind of let people know that mental health problems affect all of us, and they're not limited by race, income, or any of those other kinds of things.
Right.
So we're going to get the word out.
I'm so glad you guys could be here today, talk about all this great stuff in the conference. And we want everybody, if they're in crisis, know somebody that is in crisis, to call your helpline, call your office, visit your Facebook page. There are many ways they can get in touch with you to find out great information.
Absolutely.
And thanks for coming. And you have to come back around the conference or after the conference, let us know how everything went.
We're going to do
We
that.
will.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Shannon.
When we return, we'll have details on this year's Dupont Clifford Brown Jazz Festival when we return.
We are your Wilmington City Council, and we're also your neighbors. We're asking you to let us know about your community events, achievements, concerns, and issues.
That's why we created a special email address that will connect you to all of us in City Council.
Drop us an email about things going on in your neighborhood with Community Events 22 at wilmingtonde.gov. That's Community Events 22 at wilmingtonde.gov.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but things changed. Teaching didn't seem that cool anymore. So you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Amazing things are happening in teaching, so it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
The Dupont Clifford Brown Jazz Festival kicks off on Tuesday, June 16th, and Kenny Briscoe is amped up and happy and here to tell us all about it. Yeah, you're here to tell us all about it.
I'm glad you're here too.
I'm glad, really? I mean, it's not a dig. I'm just saying you're here to tell us all about it. It's not.
Yeah.
Okay, Kenny, well, look, I'm going to hold up these two great flyers. I'm going to hold them up to my camera, and I'm sure we got, you know, I don't know, we got logos and stuff back there.
Yeah.
So look, let's talk about this. Is good. Let me tell you, I was impressed that you had Emile LaRue.
Yes.
Last year. So this year, and I'm looking at the back of it, looks like another great one.
Absolutely. So, I mean, what we try to do, first of all, the festival is probably one of the best times of the year in Wilmington. We have close to like 30,000 people come through during the week.
Wow.
And it's our job to try to continue to keep the festival relevant. It's the largest free jazz festival on the East Coast. A lot of people don't know, and we still get tons of calls about how much are tickets because of the lineup that we put together. So I'm always excited about that. But this year, it really goes from the 13th to the 20th.
Okay.
But our main stage performances don't start to the 16th.
Okay.
So we have a kickoff event at Delaware Theater Company on the 13th. It's the Thank God for Jazz, BDG Enterprises. We're working with them. And there are about 8 or 9 performers that'll be performing at the theater company. It's a great show. And we use that to kind of kick off the festival. That's on Saturday, the 13th.
Okay.
But then on Tuesday, the 16th, is when the traditional main stage performances start in Rodney Square. So that's when people come out with their lawn chairs and just sit in the square and listen to great music. On Tuesday, it starts about 6 o'clock.
Rain or shine?
Rain or shine. It's always rain or shine. We never postpone because trying to get all of these artists lined up for this kind of sequential festival, it gets a little difficult, so it is rain or shine. But every year, same thing happens. The forecast says rain. It gets all the way up. There's a little spritz on Tuesday.
And then
it breaks and it's great weather. So I'm hoping that tradition continues.
I think it'll be good.
Yeah, so it's from the 16th to the 20th in Rodney Square. I mean, some of the big names that we have are Eric Marienthal, Chuck Loeb, Jeff Lorber, Fusion, Layla James, because Friday night we try to make it something a little bit more soulful to bring out. You like Jeff Lorber? Yeah, he's amazing.
I like him.
He's amazing. We have Tito Puente Jr., who's going to be performing. Edgardo Cintron and the Cintron Band is performing, as well as a host of other locals. Anaya Jazz is performing. Blind Date Band is performing at the Block Party that everybody talks about so much. Which
2 other things that were great, since you mentioned it, the Block Party and then the party that was at the library.
So the party at the library, which is Sax in the City, it's a little non-traditional. Grey Goose is always a sponsor, which brings everyone out, right?
Yeah.
And we have
that goose will get you.
Here, you tell it.
Really, don't laugh at him.
There's Sax in the City, which will take place on the 18th at the Wilmington Library. There's a jazz band upstairs, and then there's almost like an R&B dance party downstairs. Doc B is spinning.
That is not a free event, though.
No, that event is $25.
And they need to purchase tickets in advance, right?
Yes, you can purchase them at the website, cliffordbrownjazzfestival.com. And all the proceeds to that go back to CityFest, which is the nonprofit that supports the mayor's office to do the jazz festival, as well as a host of other festivals during the summer. So this is kind of our little fundraiser that we do every year. But this year we're doing another block party, which will be Saturday night. So it's in a different location, about a block and a half away from the square, and that's called the Clifford Brown Closeout. And a band from DC is playing, Familiar Faces. And they are a great band. It's about 11 people on stage.
Wow.
They do a lot of covers. It's a mix of jazz, funk, reggae. It is everything you can imagine. And they put on an awesome show. So the goal, get people in Wilmington, get people in the streets, listen to great music, have some great food. We got awesome food trucks, as well as our other vendors for last year. And it's completely free, except for Sax in the City.
Except for that. But now, Kenny, you want people to come to, you know, make it like a week out of it.
Absolutely.
So where do they stay? Are there any kind of jazz festival packages anywhere?
There are packages at all of the hotels in downtown Wilmington, from the Sheraton to the Westin. All you really have to do is call any of the hotels and ask them for the Clifford Brown Jazz Festival package, and they'll give it to you at a discount. They're different rates, everything from $89 to $109. This year, interesting enough, the Clarion, which is about 4 miles out of the city, they're interested in participating, so they've come on board.
Shut the front door,
Yep,
really?
they've come on board as one of the hotels. I think theirs is $109 a night, and they have a Wednesday night jazz festival after party as well.
Really?
So there are just tons of people getting involved because the city is just amassed with people, all listening to great music and ready to enjoy themselves.
That sounds really good. So let's give the rundown again so everybody can remember. So it opens up, there is an unofficial day on Saturday.
Yes, this is the kind of opening kickoff.
Okay.
That is on the 13th of June at the Delaware Theater Company, and that's a Thank Gods for Jazz event. That is a ticketed event too. It's $15.
Okay, you get the tickets from the website?
Yep, you can get the tickets from the website, and there's a phone number you can call as well to purchase tickets. Then we have our official main stage opening in Rodney Square, which is going to be the 16th. And then every night after that, the 16th, the 17th, the 18th, and the 19th, which will be your weekdays, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The main stage has performances from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Okay.
On Saturday, since it's a longer day and it's not a weekday, the main stage opens at 2 o'clock, and there are jazz performances all the way up until 9 p.m. Now, our after-party events are on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
And that's Silver Trumpet Block Party.
So Thursday is Sax in the City at
Okay.
the Wilmington Library.
Okay.
Friday is the Silver Trumpet Block Party, which is right on 8th, 9th, and Market. And that goes from about 9:30 to about almost 1 a.m. in the morning.
Is that somebody calling you now about the Jazz Festival?
It actually is, and I'm going to call him back after we finish talking.
And
on Saturday, we have another Clifford Brown closeout block party that's taking place on 10th Street between Tapno and Orange, and that's going to be a huge event. So it's another jazz festival.
I mean,
call.
really, they cannot wait to get information on the Jazz Festival.
Yeah, I've got.
Do you want to answer that and tell them that you're talking about the
No,
Jazz
I'm
Festival?
here with you, and you take priority.
I think answer it. Why
Okay.
not?
All right.
Yeah, go ahead and answer it. Tell them you're talking about the Jazz Festival. Go ahead, answer your phone, and tell them you'll call them back. Say, listen.
Whatever you say.
No, really.
Hey, I'm good. Can I give you a ring back? I'm on the television show talking about the Jazz Festival. All right?
We know you want tickets. I'll
Okay,
call you
all
right
right.
back.
That actually
See, that was good.
Yeah.
I'm
That was
telling
one of the
you,
artists
right?
too, so thanks for that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But yeah. So I'm really excited. There's a lot going on for the Jazz Festival, as well as we have a few other things happening this summer. We have our 4th of July, which is taking place down at Tub McGarrett, of course, on the 4th of July. That's
And it's 4th of July, and then you got
Rodney Square Summer Stage or the Blues Festival.
that's it, the
So
Blues Festival.
The Blues Festival starts on July 31st, but in between July 4th and July 31st, we have the Rodney Square Summer Stage, where we're actually bringing the stage into Rodney Square, because we realize there's a little bit of a quiet time between 4th of July and the Blues
Right.
Festival, and we want to continue to give people something to do within the city. So we have a stage on Friday and Saturday in Rodney Square. We have 2 bands each on Friday and Saturday. We have everything from calypso to R&B. The SOS Band is going to be here.
Oh, no,
as well
really?
As,
The SOS
absolutely.
Band?
And these are going to be free events. You'll start to see the
What?
posting probably beginning of next week, so you can see the full schedule. And
I
there'll
like
be plenty
the
to
SOS
do.
Band.
I like them too. That's why they're coming.
Okay.
So yeah,
How about Earth, Wind, and Fire next year?
give me some more sponsors.
Really?
You guys
Can
wanna
at least
sponsor?
get Earth and Wind here?
Well, Earth is expensive.
I mean, can he give me Earth and Wind?
I was
at
working
least?
on wind earlier.
Really?
So we'll see what happens.
I mean, really? All right. But SOS Band is good.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
So we want to keep it moving and keep people excited and really energized to come into downtown Wilmington.
Well, Kenny, I'm so glad. Aren't we glad he came today? I am. Are you going to come back for the Blues Festival? It is. Are you going to come back from the Blues
I would love to come back for the summer stage too.
Okay, whenever. You just got to let me know.
All right. I'll come back.
And tell your friend they can call back again when you're doing your segment.
I'll call them back when we leave.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kenny. We'll be right back with shows at the Grand and the Playhouse after these messages.
Thank you for calling your GED Pep Talk Center. All right, now, are you ready for your GED Pep Talk?
Being nervous is okay. It just shows that you're serious about getting your diploma.
A lot of things are scary. Heck, I'm scared of clowns.
No quiero ir. No lo puedo hacer.
DMC, life in your pep talk style.
Just keeping it real, Debs, just keeping it real.
Whatever motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Get your GED pep talk and find free classes at yourged.org.
I grew up in the housing projects of Cleveland. I didn't even know that life could be any better than it was. Education for me has been a way to get away from the agony of what was normal life. I want to be able to impact the community, not just look back on where I came from, but to reach back to where I came from and pull some people up with me. My name is David, and I am your dividend.
The Grand and the Playhouse have joined forces. They both have some great shows coming up that you won't want to miss. And Mark Fields is here now with the rundown of the performance. And he's going to get a telegram during this segment.
Hi, Shannon. How are you?
Mark, what's going on?
Oh, lots is going on. We're pretty excited. Yeah.
Yeah, you're 2 into 1.
Yeah, whenever you have a historic theater, the thing you really want to do is go out and get another one. So
I know, right?
I don't know what we were thinking, but I think it's going to turn out just fine.
I think so too. And even though you will offer performances, but they'll be different from each one.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
so which is great.
Yeah, the Playhouse is going to stay just the way it has been. It's going to be Wilmington's home for Broadway, and in fact, we're branding the series this year Broadway in Wilmington, and we have 6 great shows, and that's going to take up most of our attention in the Playhouse. We're going to start with Annie, the perennial favorite, and we're going to do a family show at the holidays, and then we've got Chicago, 42nd Street, Mamma Mia, Blue Man Group, and then we're going to end with...
I saw the Blue Man Group.
Oh, they're hysterical.
I like them, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Went to see them in Vegas.
Yeah, they're really hard to describe.
Yeah, you
but
just have to go.
Once you see it, you'll never forget about it. I mean, it's performance art, it's percussion, it's music.
And they are blue.
And they're absolutely blue. Yeah. And then we're going to end the season with the Wilmington premiere of the national tour of Jersey Boys.
I'm going to have to tell my friend Eileen. She watches that movie every time it comes on.
Well, hard to go wrong with that music, isn't
well,
it?
and she's going to be in there. I'm going to have to make sure she knows about that mental note. Call Eileen. So that's great. So now that's all at the Playhouse.
That's all at the Playhouse on Rodney Square.
Right.
And then just a few weeks ago, we announced the upcoming season for the Grand Opera House. We've got over 60 shows that we've already announced, starting with Kids Bop in July, which is kids performing rock and roll. We've got Graham Nash coming in August. We've got Lorena McKennitt, the Celtic singer, coming in October. Straight No Chaser in December. Plenty of things to see at the Grand, too.
Now, and I know you guys have like Bill Maher coming, but he's going to be at the Playhouse,
Bill Maher
right?
is going to be at the Playhouse.
Okay.
One of the things, Shannon, that having 2 theaters does for us is we've really, this market and the Grand in particular have gained the attention of the national arts market. And we've demonstrated that we can sell a lot of tickets in this area for the right kinds of acts. And so now more and more agents and managers are coming to us and saying, we want to include Wilmington on a national tour. Instead of just playing in Philadelphia and then jumping over Wilmington and going on to Baltimore.
Right.
Now we're playing in Wilmington. Well, we have 3 resident companies at the Grand and a very ambitious schedule of our own. So there were times where some big national tour said, we want to come to Wilmington, and we said, sorry, the hall's not available.
Right.
But now we double our chances of being able to get one of those national tours. And so Bill Maher is going to play at the Playhouse this year, and a number of the other artists that we're bringing the Glenn Miller Orchestra to the Playhouse. So each theater has its own strength. We also think that there is a slightly different audience for the Playhouse than there is for the Grand, but we're going to mix it up and see what happens.
Wow, that is great. Now, what do you think, what has the response been from your first Broadway season at the Playhouse?
Well, we're in the middle of selling that right now.
Right.
We announced it in April. We took over the Playhouse in January in the middle of the current season, so we had to finish out this season, but we've announced the lineup. The response has been very positive. There was a concern among the subscribers who have been faithful to the Playhouse for many, many years that what's going to happen now that it's different.
Right.
But I think we've convinced a lot of them that we're going to go big or go home, and we've already renewed close to 75% of the subscribers from last year.
That's great.
And we're already selling new subscriptions.
That's great. You know, what makes attending an event at the Grand so unique?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that, because that is, I think, our secret weapon, or our not so secret weapon. We call it the Grand Experience, and we're exporting that Grand Experience to the Playhouse as well. And what that experience is you're not going to see a show in some big anonymous venue someplace that you know is really, you know, the primary reason we're all there is to separate people from their money as much as possible. We really want people, when they come to the Grand and now when they come to the Playhouse, to feel like they're coming home, and to feel welcome and to feel comfortable and to feel like they have a stake in what's happening. And we don't look at it as a commercial transaction. Obviously, you know, we want to sell tickets and we want to be successful so that we can continue to bring artists to Wilmington, but the primary purpose here is for everybody to get together and have this shared experience that the arts are so unique in providing. And I think we've been very successful at that, and one of the things that we're already hearing from the Playhouse audience is it's so much different after you guys took over. It's so much friendlier. It's so much more welcoming. We like coming.
It's not so Grey Poupon anymore. It's more relaxed, right?
Right. French is yellow, right. Yeah. So, and I think, you know, we see it more and more, and we see with the audiences that are coming to the Grand that they're coming more often, that they're coming to shows that they wouldn't necessarily have come to 3 or 4 years ago because they want to come back and experience something at the Grand, and they think, well, if the Grand's doing it, it's worth my time to check it out. And it's a terrific place to be in. And now we've done a lot of work, and a lot of people put a lot of effort into creating that kind of experience. But I think it's paid off in the relationship that we have with our audience.
And I just want to remind, because you said it earlier, you know, about the family-friendly programming, Annie and the holiday shows, that there is kids programming.
We're doing more family programming than we probably ever had before. We've got Clifford the Big Red Dog coming this year. We've got a brand new production with masks and puppets of Peter Rabbit. It's the 100th anniversary of Beatrix Potter's birth. And
no, is it?
Yes, believe it or not.
Really?
And,
I like Peter Rabbit.
Yeah, so we're doing a brand new Peter Rabbit show. We've got a taiko drumming show coming in February called 17 Samurai, so it's very dramatic. Japanese drumming, and that's certainly something that would appeal to families. And then Kids Bop. We've got the Wiggles coming in September.
Wiggles.
So we believe, you know, that there's clearly an interest in family programming for the arts, that families want to do the arts together. But also part of what we're doing is exposing younger audiences to live performance and creating the audiences of the future, not just for the Grand, but for theaters throughout the area.
Which to me, and I say this to all the arts organizations, I think you guys do a wonderful job. And in a lot of cases, when kids come to the theaters in downtown Wilmington, this was probably their first live theater experience, and it means something.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we live in a day and age where kids are not exposed to live performance, and most of the experiences they're having, or certainly many of them, are happening in the cyber world.
Right.
And so coming to a live performance and seeing that there are people up on stage doing this just for you is a really powerful experience. And we do that throughout the year. And then I know Pam has been here to talk about our Summer in the Parks program and Summer Children's Theater, and those are going on this summer, and that's yet another opportunity for people to expose their children to the magic that is live performance.
You guys do a great job over there.
Well, thank you.
So Mark, if anybody wants to find out, so you got, let me see, Joe, I'm not
Joe
even,
Bonamassa.
Yeah, I was not even going to say that name. I say it.
Joe is one of the most amazing blues guitarists in the world. He's kicking off his national tour in November with 2 performances at the Grand.
Itzhak Perlman?
Itzhak Perlman and Yevgeny Kissin and Misha Maisky doing a recital in preparation to going to Carnegie Hall. Only 2 places in the entire U.S. you can see that recital.
And Sardines.
The Hot Sardines. Oh, yes. Thank you for mentioning that. It's one of the shows I'm most excited about next year. They're a new jazz group. They take old jazz music and play it with a contemporary sensibility, and they're just amazing. I think they're going to be the next big thing in jazz.
And band called Honolulu?
Oh, we had them last year. They're coming back. They're a Peter, Paul, and Mary tribute band, and they do a wonderful job, and you got to love them, if only for that title, a band called Honolulu.
I think I like that one too. And we want to remind everybody that all of the shows are listed on your website, and they can always check that out too,
That's right, thegrandwilmington.org.
Okay, okay. This is great, Mark. Well, I think we're out of time here, fellas.
Yeah,
we're out
never
of time.
enough time to talk about everything going on at the Grand, is there?
And you didn't even get your telegram yet. That's okay, next time.
Yes.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you,
Tell
Shannon.
everybody at the Grand I said hey.
Will do.
All right. Next, the Boise Lowry Living Residency at the Queen.
Maddie. Congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow, I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money going to come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
I want my Ed TV.
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 Now.
I want my Ed TV. I want my Ed TV.
The Boise Lowry Living Jazz Residency is to introduce a select group of young jazz students, ages 17 to 25, to an intense 2-week residency focused on performing, composing, arranging, and improvisation.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about anything else. That's it.
No, listen, and Tina Betts, what do we say? The queen of the queen, the belle of the ball, is here to tell us all about
those
it.
alliterations. Yeah. You know, this is the first year that we've done this residency program. And the idea came from Betty Carter's Jazz Ahead program down in the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. I had the opportunity to work with them and the Jazz Ahead program for many years, a number of years ago. Right. So, you know, I'm looking at this, I'm saying, well, why don't we have one, why aren't we doing this in Wilmington? First of all, the Betty Carter Jazz Ahead program never has had anybody from the state of Delaware participate in their program. No, I mean, no applicants or anything. So now we'll talk about the people who will be participating in the Boise Lowry in just a minute. This group of people, they're still not from Delaware who we're going to be training, but we're starting this intensive 2 weeks so that we can attract
Delawareans.
Yeah, because we have a lot of very talented young people right here in the Wilmington area.
Get out! You know, you amazed me with the Betty Carter. I never knew not one Delawarean ever went down
So we know that we want to start nurturing our young people, both local and from out of state, but primarily local. We want to, we really want to focus on those young musicians.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. So okay. How do you choose these program participants?
It's pretty strenuous. There was an online application that young people who were interested in participating needed to complete that included a bunch of the, the regular questions, your name, blah, blah, blah. But they also needed to write an essay. They needed to send in work samples of their original pieces, plus a sample of them soloing with whatever their instrument is over a couple of selected pieces. So it was pretty intense. We had a wonderful time listening to all of the music. It was, just enlightening to see all of the young people and how talented they are.
Can we show the random picture of the random girl that I have? And
Oh,
she just,
yeah.
Tina said, well, we haven't done it before. It's just a random picture.
Yeah, she said random. I mean, this is what
random kids.
This is what our participants will look sort of like, except they're all male.
Right,
okay,
right, just
so
random.
There's one little difference there.
And then there's the two random guys playing an instrument.
The two random guys. Never met them.
Random guys.
Never met them before in my life.
Just a frame of reference.
Yeah, just a frame of reference. I said, what? I don't understand.
You're like, okay. I was like, it's to give just something to look at. I don't know.
Well, the dates of the residency will be June 14th through the 28th.
How many people?
13. We've selected 13 artists.
Okay.
The youngest one is 17. The youngest one, I'm sorry, I said nobody from Delaware. That's not true. The youngest one attends Tatnall. 17 years old. Yes, he's a drummer. He's a drummer. So we're really looking forward to having. I'm sorry, he's not a drummer. He's a guitarist.
Now the ones that. So where do they live at while they're living here for the 2 weeks?
They'll be staying at the Seville residences that belong to Delaware College of Art and Design. So that will be their residency, and a lot of their workshops and their private lessons and the rehearsal time. There's a lot of it will happen at the Grand. My good friend Mark Field and his staff. Pam Minacchio worked it out so that we have a lot of. That was me. I'm sorry.
Is that your phone? Are you playing jazz music? Do you need to take your call?
My pocketbook. Somebody on here is saying something.
Well, you can answer your phone.
No, I'm not answering my phone. It wasn't my phone.
I didn't know what that was.
We're not answering.
Okay.
So the classes will take place at the Grand.
Right.
And I want to just say thank you very much, Mark Fields and your staff, Pam Minacchio, for welcoming us in. We'll be using their studio spaces. A wonderful partnership. Of course, some of the classes will also be taking place at the Queen Theater and also the Christiana Cultural Arts Center. There's one workshop that will happen there. So they'll be staying all around downtown. We will be running them out for a couple of short performances so that they can show their stuff.
Right.
We'll be down in Rehoboth. They're going to do a small concert there. Out at Cokesbury Village, they'll be doing that, and also at the Grand and World Cafe Live. So
now we talk about these kids in the classes. Who are the people that are going to be heading up these classes?
Well, we're really excited because, as you know, it's the Boise Lowry Living Jazz Residency. Vernon James, who is a reed instrument player. Gerald Chavis is a trumpeter.
I know Gerald Chavis.
Both of those musicians studied with Boise Lowry.
Oh, cool.
So we're very, very excited about that. We have other masters coming in from New York to teach master classes. Go on the website, BoiseLowryLivingJazz.com. You can see the entire faculty, also get an idea of the intense 2 weeks that these 13 young students, who, by the way, are coming from all over the place, including our young guitarists from Tatnall. We have students from Berklee School of Music, from the Manhattan School of Music, University of Denver, University of Texas, University of North Carolina, and on and on and on. I mean, we are very, very excited about this new program for the Light Up the Queen Foundation.
I love this. And
yeah.
And so that the Mark, arts people work so hard, and kids need to be exposed to arts.
Yeah, and we're having this opportunity for these. The Light Up the Queen Foundation is doing this for a couple of reasons. First of all, to help these young people continue and to launch their careers.
Yeah.
Also to expose this area to new music that's being created by some very talented young people. So this art exchange is working in both directions. With the art makers consuming and learning, and then also sharing what it is that they've learned through their new compositions. So the Light Up the Queen Foundation, this is our most ambitious arts program to date, and we're very, very excited. First year launching it. Wanted to also mention, and I know that we're going to talk about this on another show, but on June 28th, that's the final day of the residency, there'll be a free concert featuring all of our participants playing their new compositions at the Queen Theater. That's Sunday, June 28th, beginning at 3 p.m. and it is free and open to the public.
And when you come back, we'll get a chance to see them in action.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's going to be really good. I am so happy for those youngsters.
Yeah, I mean, they're so excited. We opened up this Facebook page so that they can exchange ideas and ask each other questions and ask us questions, and it's been very, very lively going back and forth. There are a couple of them have put some of their original compositions online already, so that the other participants will take a listen to them, and you know, just exchanging who they're going to be rooming with, where they're coming from, what instruments they play. In addition to having those workshops that I talked about at the Grand, the World Cafe Live, and the Christina Cultural Arts Center, the Seville, thank you so much to the Delaware College of Art and Design for being our residency housing partner. They will also be doing jam sessions, you know, just getting together in very informal ways in the DCAD Seville residency.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
They'll like that. All the kids that still live in there will like that too.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. There will be a few of the DCAD students there this summer.
Yeah,
so it's just going to be a way of hanging out, having some fun, teaching a lot, learning a lot. You know, big launch for the Light Up the Queen Foundation.
Yay. Anything else going on at the Queen that you want people to check out before we get out of here?
Well, you know, it's best. There is so much going on at the Queen that folks should really go online. Now, of course, there's World Cafe Live, and that's the, you know, the live music presenter. Tenants of the Queen, and then the Light Up the Queen Foundation is the nonprofit that raised, and I'm the executive director of that nonprofit. The foundation raised money to renovate the building and to continue with these arts programs like the Boise Lowry Living Jazz Residency. And then World Cafe Live is a tenant at the Queen. And I know sometimes people get a little bit confused about, okay, well, you know, there's this wonderful person coming to perform at the Queen, and so it's World Cafe Live, the live music presenter, a for-profit entity, and then the Light Up the Queen Foundation, of which I'm executive director. That's a nonprofit entity that does arts programming and also raise the money to renovate that wonderful building.
One of the coolest things that you showed me from Light Up the Queen, one of the shows, was the guy that came here that could make the sound,
Yes.
I love that guy.
Yeah,
he
well,
is great.
Everybody loves Alex. Alex Shaw
Yes.
is his name.
Oh.
We also continue to do our Live Connections bridge sessions.
Oh, that's
and
great.
Alex Shaw is a musician, a teaching artist who performs during those bridge sessions. And that's when we bring in kids and they interact with the artists and with each other through music. So Alex Shaw is one of those people, and we get so many comments back from the young girls
amazing.
talking about
Wow.
Alex.
And he's good looking.
Is Mr. Alex coming? So you know, we just tell him yes all the time because he's there frequently for our bridge sessions, for the Live Connections.
You want to credit any of the donors who made the residency possible?
Yes, I'd like to thank the Gilliam Foundation. They were very, very generous. Also, Dupont has kicked in, which is wonderful. Our partners, I've mentioned the Grand, they have kicked in tremendously, allowing us to use their space for, you know, as a partner. Also the Delaware College of Art and Design, and World Cafe Live also is kicking in, you know, their contributions. I especially like to thank the Board of Directors of the Light Up the Queen Foundation for allowing, you know, for understanding that taking on this type of ambitious effort is a worthwhile thing to do. And our Shine a Light event that we had last February, planning already for next February, the money that's raised through that particular event, that big concert, the Shine a Light on the Queen concert, is used to develop and to execute programs just like the Boise Lowry Living Jazz Residency and all of the other arts programs that we do. So we're very, very lucky to have a lot of support. We recently had an annual pill that's still ongoing. You can go on to the Light Up the Queen Foundation website and make a contribution to the annual pill that also supports wonderful initiatives like the Boise Lowry Living Jazz Residency.
Wow, TB. That's great.
Yeah, looking good.
Let me see. what's Dave saying? Does having instruction with established artists also help with the, I'm reading, yeah, right.
Also help learning about the business end of being a musician, you bet. That's very, Dave, good question, where are you? Okay.
Right there.
You know,
right.
that's really important, and that's one of the workshops that the 13 young participants in their Boise Lowry residency will attend, because it's, you know, it's sometimes
now we
hard
gotta
to,
go.
huh? Where are we going to go? We got to go?
We got
Okay,
time.
yes, it will be there.
But tell Dave good questioning again.
Good question, Dave.
Did
We
he
will
really
be
come up
doing
with
the
that
music
question?
of business.
He didn't come up with that
The business
question.
of music.
The
whatever
music
it
of
is.
business. I like
yeah.
both.
Well, we're going to come back and
You're
talk
coming
some more
back.
when the
You're
kids
coming
are
back.
here.
When the kids are
the
here.
young people.
Yes. God, I feel old. The
Oh,
young
me
people.
too.
I
Right.
know. Love you, TB. Thank
Love
you
you
for
too,
coming.
Miss Shannon.
For everybody here at WITN Channel 22, I'm Shannon Harris. See you next time.